My name's Kevin Blankenship. I am the division manager of the Underground Utility Support Division here at Kokosing Construction, and I manage basically anything that's QA/QC, underground, storm drains, sanitary sewer throughout the entire family of companies. So that's my job here. We have CCTV camera inspection trucks, hydro excavation trucks, pipe jetting, do utility locating, internal point repairs, all that jazz. Well, it's a halt in production, that's for sure. And it starts out as a halt in production for everything above ground for anticipation of repair. So whenever we are pulling mandrel or doing laser profile and deflection testing, whenever we have something that's out of tolerance, we immediately stop all above ground activities. With that being said, that is so you don't finish putting on surface or any type of asphalt or anything above the pipe that you're then later going to have to tear out. Usually we are way past that by the time we find something, but it depends on the stages and the phasing of the project. But we have to halt everything above ground in case of a dig up. The destruction of finished pavement, like I said, and basically the cost of rework in general, getting a crew in there to dig up the pipe, getting a crew to fix it, then relay the pipe if need be. There is astronomical costs that go into having to dig a pipe up instead of rerounding. Before rerounding was an option, it was dig up or that's it. So we would just dig up the pipe, have to relay it and replace it. And that, depending on the phasing of the project and depending on what's above ground, sometimes it was next to impossible until you're done with the entire project. Then you are literally ripping up everything as if it was done. Depending on the depths and the backfill, it would just, and the water table. There are so many variables that go into having to make a repair without the option of rerounding, and usually it's just it's astronomically destructive to your job site. So it's very refreshing to know we have that option moving forward. I was working on I-271 up in Cleveland. I was a subcontractor for Kokosing at the time, actually, and we were coming across pipe that was just all out of whack. And I was reporting back to the company I'm working for now. I was reporting back to them, and basically it seemed like every other pipe we were letting them know, like, this ain't gonna fly. This is just this is not good. Come to find out, the backfill we were using, the compaction methods and everything along with the pipe was not jiving. So we came in there and there was a pipe that you wouldn't have been able to tell it was supposed to be a round pipe to begin with. And we were able to bring in Williams Rerounding, and they were able to successfully reround every single pipe and get a 5% mandrel to pass, even though it was a 7.5% tolerance. They're showing off. But we even rerounded a 42-inch pipe, which I'd never seen done before. We had to disassemble the manhole just to get it down in there, but we successfully rerounded about 280 feet of 42-inch pipe that was over 15% deflected in some spots because digging it up was not an option. It was underneath portions of the roadway. It ran parallel along with the curb line of I-71 or 271, excuse me. And it would have been a mess. So we were able to successfully reround every single pipe run out there. And it saved the company hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so that was the first time I'd ever seen them in action. And it was the worst time, that the worst job I'd been on when it came to deflection and rerounding, that they were able to come in and take care of everything. The simplicity of it. In concept, it's very simplistic. But in reality, it's a very complex machine when there's to get it to run so perfectly so often. I know there's been others that have tried to get rerounders going and everything like that. And to be completely honest, most of them failed that I've noticed. And A lot of them don't have the size capabilities. They stick with small diameter. They do not have the range that Williams has. Like I said, when we did that 42-inch pipe, may even been 48, but that 42-inch pipe, it blew my mind that this thing was able to do it. So what stood out to me was the simplicity of it. Why hadn't someone thought of this before? Why hasn't this been done? But then when you get down to the brass tacks and the nitty gritty of everything, the the complex nature of the machine, what it needs to do, the delicate dance between backfill and shape and pipe and everything. Um, you got to have a good, strong, consistent median between everything to be able to work symbiotically and get that pipe perfectly round again. And it does not cease to impress me, to be completely honest. Performed great after rerounding. The hydraulics of the pipe did not change. It was completely round. There was no buckling, creasing, no weakening of the pipe wall, which was very impressive because that's what I was more concerned about, is when you have what you would think in your head is a violent action underneath your feet and inside the pipe. I was expecting there to be more scarring of the pipe, more hinge points potentially, more just evidence of something going on in there. Now, depending on if you got some muddy waters or something like that, you might see some evidence. But other than that, I mean, the pipe looks like a gun barrel when you're looking down it. It gets it back to perfect, just about. And so my expectations, I was very skeptical. Um, just especially when you feel it under your feet, you're expecting that thing to be mangled, but it's not. It's very gradual, and as much as you might hear and feel, it's fairly gentle on the pipe because you got to think of what it's doing in the high vibrations that it's causing, and it's basically getting that backfill as you're reshaping that pipe and recompacting itself. It's locking itself back into place to where it'll be structurally sound moving forward. And that was very impressive to me. From a schedule and cost perspective, it would have, I mean, we spent a good amount on rerounding, but if you would have changed rerounding to digging up and replacing, some of these were 15 feet deep, if not more. And most everything was located under finished highway, fresh asphalt, fresh guardrail, fresh everything. It was finished. The project was done. And we would have had to rip up everything, redo everything. We would have been out there. It would have cost probably millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands, if not millions. I would say in the millions. And we probably spent less than 100,000 rerounding everything. And this was a lot of pipe. This was a lot, a heavy, high amount of footage. And it was pipe sizes that range from 12-inch all the way to 42. So on that project in particular, I use that project as an example with our pipe crews often, showing what was happening, what we were able to do to fix it, but also what to do to prevent us from having this mistake again. Well, we try and stay consistent on how we are evaluating them. The goal is not to have any pipe that needs rerounded, obviously. We want to install perfect pipe every time, and we've come a long way. We do not have very many pipe that we need to repair, barring any type of freak accidents you're going to have on construction sites. But when it comes to rerounding and deflection, it's few and far between anymore, and that's mostly because we have been able to correct a lot of mistakes, preventative maintenance, if you will. But it's always given us a peace of mind when we do run into something as over deflected pipe. We know that we will have that option to reround. And granted, the option to reround doesn't always it doesn't always apply because either lack of access, either or there's something too close to the pipe. You there can always be these variables that come into play, but the majority of time we have been able to reround the pipe. I'd say 95% of the time. And the other couple times that we haven't been able to, it's been able to pass because if that doesn't reround it, nothing else is going to happen to it. And that was something that helped us along the way too. But we've had so many successes with this rerounder that I'd say the biggest takeaway is peace of mind, knowing that we do not have to resort to digging up a pipe. And so it's great. After that first experience, it changed everything because we are getting more so into trenchless repair. That's the way the industry is going. To eliminate digging up anything is the goal. If you can get in there and repair your pipe without having to put a bucket in the ground, then you're in it to win it. And rerounding, I think, is more so the most common mistake that you're going to have on flexible pipe. And to be able to have them out there that can do this in a timely fashion, it's been great. Well, like I said before, the simplicity of it, the ease of it, and the confidence I have in it now. I mean, the confidence is out of bounds. I've used them countless times over the years. It's got to be over 10 years now that I've been working with you guys, and it's been success after success. I can count 2 times we haven't been able to reround something. One was because it was large 304s, very shallow pipe, a lot of heavy equipment going on top of it, and it just locked those things in. There wasn't a lot of clearance, and basically we tried pulling that thing through 7, 8 times, and it would not get it back to round. But we did some engineering analysis of it, and we realized if that thing's not going to reround it, nothing else is going to squash it anymore. We were able to confirm that, and the owner was able to be satisfied with that and let it go. One other time is when there was no backfill around the pipe. You got to have the stone around the pipe to be able to shift that around and lock it in. You just have mud or dirt or something like that, it's not going to work. Gave it a shot one time, didn't happen, which they were upfront with us and let us know that that's an issue at times. And they were right, and it didn't, and we knew that going into it. So, but every other time you have your normal pipeline conditions, this thing's come through for us. Call Williams Rerounding. Call them, and they will get you taken care of. And the good thing about it, with Jack and James, is they will be as upfront and honest with you as possible. They will be as transparent as humanly possible. They are not going to blow smoke to just come and get the work. They're going to be upfront with you and tell you, hey, this might be an issue. We're pretty confident in what you got here. By looking at the video, the shape of it, this is not something that we have any worries about. Or, hey, you have some stuff according to this drawing. You got some backfill that's different right here. We could have a variance. They will be as upfront and honest with you as possible. And I know I can always trust them. Anytime I've ever called them, they've shot me straight. And it's been very refreshing to know I have them on our side. And anytime we've ever had a deflection issue at all, they're our first call.